Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Yinka. So in today's class I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful style. So let's get started. So for this time I'm using 4 yards of cord lace. This is a cord lace and I'm going to be using 4 yards of it, the zipper and then thread. So let's get started. So I'm going to be cutting the upper part of my gown first. So first I'll cut the front first so that I can use it to cut out the back. So first I'll fold my fabric into 2. I'm going to roll my guideline. Next thing I'm going to do is measure my armhole length and also my waist length. So from the guideline I'm going to measure my armhole length, then my waist length. My waist length is 17 with ½ inch seam allowance. Then I'm going to extend the lines. So this is my guideline, this is my armhole line, this is my waistline, ½ inch seam allowance. All right, so moving on, I'm going to be coming to this guideline. I will input my shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 16 divided by 2, that will be 8 inches. So I'll put 8 inches here, then I'll rule it to the armhole length. So this is my armhole. Next is to slant our shoulder. So first from the starting point I'll measure 3 inches. Then I'll come to the tip here. I'll come down by 1. Then I'll connect from that 1 to the 3 inches. Then I'll add ½ inch allowance to that line, like this. Next is for you to input your bust circumference measurement. To input your bust circumference measurement divided by 4 plus your seam allowance. My bust is 40 divided by 4, that will be 10. Then I'm adding 1 inch allowance. Then I'll come to the waistline. I'll input my waist circumference measurement divided by 4. My waist measurement is 32. 32 divided by 4, that will be 8 inches. Then I'm going to be putting 1 inch dart, then 1 inch seam allowance. Then I'll connect the points together. So the next thing now is to finish the armhole. So just place your French cut, touching this line and also touching this armhole length, and then you get your armhole curve. So this is the back armhole curve. Then you come from the shoulder drop, measure to the chest line and note the center. Then from the center you come in by ½ inch so that you can get the front armhole curve. So from the center, just blend it back to the shoulder tip this way. Place your French curve and connect it back to the chest line. The next thing now is to input our neckline. So from the folded edge, I'll measure the width of my neckline. I'm doing 5 inches for my neck width, 5 inches. And then for the neck depth, I'm doing 3 inches. 3 inches, then I'll connect it together. So the next thing is to cut it out. But when you're cutting it out, you cut it out on the back armhole first. So the pattern is ready. The next thing now is to use this one to cut out the back. So place another fabric on fold. So you place the front pattern on it. Place the front pattern on it, but ensure you leave your zip allowance. I'm using 1 inch for my zip allowance. In fact, ½ inch is okay, but you don't really need plenty zip allowance. But because I still want to slant the waistline of the bag, that's why I'm leaving it at 1 inch. This is our zip allowance here. The next thing now is just to cut everything out exactly the same way. All right, so I'm done. So this is it. So the next thing now is to take the front out of the back. So the next thing now, I'll just slant the waistline. So from the waistline here, come in by 1/2 inch and blend it back to the line. All right, so this is it. The back is ready, so you keep it aside, and then you're going to reshape the front armhole. So both the front and the back, they are both ready. So the next thing I want to do now is just to notch the position of my dart, so that when I'm sewing, I'll just sew in my darts. The position of your dart is your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. Then you measure from the center front. Mine is 8 divided by 2, that's 4. So you note that point, that is the position of your dart. So you're going to be taking 1/2 inch dart on both sides of that position. So you can just notch it. But since I'm using cord and if I notch it's not going to show, I'll just shock it so that when I'm sewing it, I'll just sew it in. I believe we know how to cut this upper part. I'm just, in case of those people that don't know it, so that's what. So the upper part is ready. The next thing now is to cut the lower part of the gown. So in order for you to cut the lower part of the gown, you're going to be folding your fabric into 2, such that the upper part is going to be unfold. Then the next thing to do now is for you to fold it over again into 4. The upper part is unfold, the center here is unfold, the lacy edge is at this side. All right, so the next thing you need to do now, first off, you measure the remaining length of your gown. From this upper part, you measure down the remaining length of your gown plus your seam allowance. So my total gown length is 60, and from my waistline upward, I already cut out 17 inches length. So 17 minus 60, that is going to be 43. Then plus allowance, that's going to be, I'm going to be adding 2 inches allowance, so that's going to be 45. All right, so from this place now, I will measure down the 45 inches. Then I will just cut it out from here. I'll cut it out. At this upper part, you are going to be inputting your waist circumference measurement divided by 4 plus your zip allowance. So my waist circumference measurement is 32, so I'll just add 1 inch to that will be 33. So 33 divided by 4, that will be 8.2. So I'll look for a position to see the 8.2 here. So from the folded edge, I'll measure 8.25 here, like this. 8.25. I'll measure 8.25 like this. Then from this center front, just come down by 1/2 inch. From here, measure 1/2 inch downward, and then from this 1/2 inches, blend it to that measurement that you have here. Just blend it. So I'm going to be taking this again. Once your fabric is folded into 4, the upper part is unfold. This part here is your center front and your center back, and both of them are unfold. The lacy edge is at this other side. So the next thing you need to do now, at this upper part, you're going to be inputting your waist circumference measurement, and we added 1 inch for our zipper allowance. My waist circumference measurement is 32. I'm going to be adding 1 inch to that, so that will be 33. 33 divided by 4, that will be 8.25. So from the folded edge here at this upper part, measure the 8.25. Once you note that position, come down from the center here, come down by 1/2 inch, and then make a slight curve to come and meet this 8.25. then you can cut it out. All right. So this is your waist circumference measurement. So the next thing now is for you to shock how you are going to be joining it. From the picture, you can see that the joining, I don't know if you can notice it, it goes like an hairline. So from this point, measure down your hip line. You measure down your hip line. My hip line is going to be 8.5. So from the center, from this point here, you measure your hip circumference measurements divided by 4 plus 1 inch is, because you don't want it to be snug on your hip. My hip is 42 divided by 4, that will be 10.5, then plus 1, that will be 11.5. That's 11.5. So from this point, from this your waistline, take your ruler, connect it to this hip measurement, and then slightly connect it all the way down to the hem of your dress. Slightly like that. You are not going to be cutting this out. You are just going to be sewing it later on. Can you see? So from here, you see the way I've slanted it all the way there. So the next thing you need to do is to transfer this shock to the second side. It's just like you're doing a bubu. So just push pin inside this line, then you turn it to the other side so that you can connect your pins. So just push pin following your line. So you just turn it. It's just like you are cutting a bubu dress. Turn it. I don't know if you can see my pin, but I can see it from here. So I'll just connect my pins together. And please note, I'm working with the good side of my fabric. This is the right side of my fabric, all right? So now that is done, that I've transferred the shock to the other side, I'll take off the pin. So you open it up. So if you open it, you have something like this. Can you see it? You have something like this. This is the circumference for your waistline, all right? So the next thing now is for you to note. You can see this is my, from here to here is my opening. It's my opening. Can you see it? So just note the center and rule it so that you can slit only one side. You lift it up like this and open only one side so that that can serve as your zip allowance, the opening for your zip. Lift it up. Ensure you lift it up. Don't slash the two of them together, because one is going to be your center front now, and then the other one is going to be your center back. All right, so make sure you lift it up before you slit it. All right, so I'll just note the center. Lift it up. Can you see the way I've lifted it up? You can see this is going to be the front now. So lift it up. This is going to be your back, and then you slit it. You can slit it for like 10 inches, or if you like, you can slit it all the way down, but I'm not going to be slitting it all the way down. Make sure it's straight. You can rule it as well. Let me even rule it so that it can be straight. I'll just follow the line. So can you see it? So this is our zip allowance here, and yeah, we are done with the skirt part of the gown. Alright, so I'm going to be sewing in my dart first. This is the front part of the gown. So I'm done sewing in my darts. I'll also do the same thing to the back. So this is the back. I'll also sew my darts in. Alright, so the next thing you need to do now is to join the front and the back together on the shoulder. So match them together, right side to right side, and then you're going to join the shoulders together. So I've joined the shoulders together. The next thing now is to close the side. So I added 1 inch seam allowance, so I'm going to be closing it with the same allowance that I added. So I'll close the side with my allowance. Alright, so I've closed the side. The next thing now is to attach the bottom part of my gown to it. Alright, so I've joined the side seam together. I've joined the shoulders, so you can see this is the way it's looking. This is the zip allowance part. Alright, so you bring the lower part that you cut out. This is the bottom part, this is the upper part. You can see this is the wrong side of the dress. You can see my zip allowance opening here. So this is the lower part also, that is the down part of the gown. You can see the zip allowance that we slit. Can you see it here? So what you need to do now is for you to match the zip allowance together, right side to right side, and then you're going to join together on the waist area. So this is the waist area of the upper part. So you match it together from one zip allowance side to the other. You're going to be joining it with 1/2 inch allowance all around. You can pin it. I'm done joining it together at the waistline. So the next thing now is for you to attach your zip, but before you do that, turn it to the wrong side. This is the wrong side of my dress, and you can see my zip allowance opening here. This is my zip allowance opening. So what you need to do now, you can see our zip allowance line is still showing just 1 inch. 1 inch zip allowance. So from where your slit stop here, you can see where your slit is stopping here for this lower part. Fold it into 2 like this, and then you are going to take to the sewing machine. You measure from here to here the zip allowance that is at the upper part, which is 1 inch. Measure that 1 inch, and from that 1 inch you just sew it and blend it to the lower part like you are making a dart. But if you like, you can run it this 1 inch all the way down to the hem. But if you like the way I'm going to do it, because that's the way it is on the style, so from this point just run it and close it as if you are putting a dart. From this 1 inch, just slightly blend it to the center. All right, so I'll take to the sewing machine. I'll do that, and I will also go ahead and fix my zip. So I'll just sew it. You can see the way I'm doing it here. Slightly you blend it back to the center, just like you are making a dart. So as you can see, I'm done fixing my zipper, and this is how my dress is looking so far. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to close the side at this bottom part. If you remember, we already shook the line that our side seam is going to follow. So you're just going to close the lower part, just following the short line that you have earlier on the dress. And when you're done closing the side, you're going to be hemming the bottom part of your dress, and then the dress is ready. After that, you've attached your sleeve. So that's the end of the class. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, and that's it. Your dress is ready.